Welcome to Theurbanpsychologist, episode 1. This is my podcast. I'm Zaire Ali. I'm a first year PsyD and PhD student at Rutgers University in New Jersey. And today we have.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Hatton. I'm a second year student in social psychology at Rutgers.
So I met Vanessa in this lab. I can't tell you all that because that's private info. But, so our topic of the day is, none other than new school year, So, Vanessa, are you excited about your school year this year?
Oh, well, I'm half excited, half nervous, a little stressed. Second year has already proven to be a little more daunting than last year. So, a little stressed, but nothing I can't tackle. What about you?
Uh, you know, like I finished my master's last December, in counseling psych. Then I started at MPH in the spring. Started that part time because I knew I wanted to, eventually go on for a PhD or PsyD or something. So now I'm here at the PsyD, but I don't know. I had my first week of classes. I'm almost done. I have a class tomorrow, which is Friday. But I don't think I'm stressed or anything. I'm just let's go. I'm more just determined to do this. 'Cause I'm doing a lot, So I'm taking I'm overloading credits already. Cause I'm doing two programs, so I want to get it done. But everybody's like, oh, are you sure? It's not a lot. How are you gonna do it? I'm like, bro, first off, I know it's a lot, but it just makes me even want to work harder to be more focused. Cause I'm doing a lot, but I want to prove. I don't know. It's kind of like a chip on my shoulder. Cause people are like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, yeah. And watch how good I am,
Right.
So it's
right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's let's go. And even during my master's, I was working full time research assistant during the week. I was doing research during the week, 35, 40 hours a week. Then I did AB on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, cause I needed money, I'm doing this by myself.
AB.
ABA, so applied behavior analysis, working with students and kids on the spectrum. Okay. So it was I was busting my butt during my master's.
Yeah, you were always busy last year.
Yeah, but so I'm this is gonna be easier because I'm just doing school, and I have no outside jobs no more.
Right. Yay.
Yeah, so no, everything's Rutgers in school, so it's everything's within school, so everything's gonna be flexible and just reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right, bet, let's go. But I don't know, you saying you're a little nervous, excited. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Where do the nerves come from? Why are you nervous right now?
Well,
for this year.
Yeah, this year I have to tackle my master's thesis. So yeah.
Well, explain what does that mean? What is a master's thesis? Okay. How is that different from any other thesis?
Okay. Yeah. So I came into this program straight from undergrad, which means I don't have a master's.
And she's smart.
Thank you. I don't have a master's, so I have to earn it along the way in the PhD program. So usually that means my proposal is due by the third semester of my school year, or of my experience here, my years here. By the end of the third semester, I have to have my master's proposal in, which is the end of this year. And so the proposals I've seen from this department are usually about 30 pages long.
Single or double spaced?
I think double spaced. Either way, it's pretty long. So yeah, 30 pages of me proposing an experiment that I'd like to do. So the experiment I really care about, but
you're stressed.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's I feel stuff like that is pressure, not from anybody else, pressure from you. Because number one, you're here, there's that being here. Number one is damn, I'm here. So what do I do? It's
yeah, and there's a lot of people in the department kind of push you off the cliff, so to speak, as far as learning how to do research. So research is very independent, and it's kind of I'm getting paid to fail at it and figure it out, which is scary.
But isn't that how being a social psychologist, isn't that how you learn better, by trial and error, Because they're not going to let you, you're here, they're paying you to be here, so they're not going to let you die or
Yeah, in theory, they're not going to punish me for my failures.
So how bad can you really fail? It's not you're failing out of class,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What do you mean? Explain more if you don't mind.
It's just not fun to fail. I don't think anyone in this department enjoys it, so I don't want, for example, my research experiments to be null or my hypotheses to be incorrect or to be bad at it. I just don't want to be bad at it. But no one knows what that means, so everyone's just kind of like, oh, I don't want to be bad at this thing. And we're like, bad at what? And if someone were to ask anyone else in the department that question, like, well, what do you mean bad at it? They wouldn't be able to answer the question.
But like, isn't that perceived fear? Like, isn't that like, like coming from like my perspective, like, like a more clinical perspective? That perceived fear is just motivation, because like you're scared to to be bad. You're gonna ruminate about being bad, worry about being bad, and you're gonna work that much harder. So in hindsight, like when you're done, you're like, damn, like I'm actually really good at this, like, cause you're working hard, like you're not taking any breaks, And you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. It was all perception. It was all like fear, which isn't a real thing. It's like just my own stress, my own anxiety.
Yeah, I hope I'll be able to adopt that perspective one day.
Like, you don't think you will? Like, you sound like very like like.
I mean, I'm gonna make it through the program, but I'm still scared.
Yeah.
I allow myself to feel the emotions that I feel, and fear is one of those. I'm okay with it. I've made my peace with it. I'm not going to say fear is a motivator for me. My optimism about coming through on the other side, more so, I think, is my motivation for me. Yeah. Fear, it's just fear. Yeah, of course. But it's a thing that a lot of grad students feel that they won't really admit to feeling.
Well, thank you for admitting it, right now. Like, yeah. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Yeah. Okay, first year's done. I'm like, all right, you're not a newbie anymore. So, like, now, what do you expect from yourself this year? What do you expect to accomplish? And what are, like, okay, start of semester. What do you see happening before winter break? Like, what do you need to cross your checklist?
So I'm big into like spirituality, I guess, at the moment. So 2 is a huge number for balance, and harmony and peace. So in my second year, my 2 year, I expect to maintain balance and learn how to balance. So my first year, it was just constant. Go, 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 go. Get it done, get it done, get it done. But I didn't stop and breathe and think, okay, well, what happens if you don't get it done during this time frame? 9 times out of 10, absolutely nothing happens when you don't get it done in a certain time frame, especially in academia. So it's kind of like, well, it just didn't get done, and I'm kind of expecting myself to learn that more this year. Balancing my sanity with my work, and also being able to separate the two. So I can't continue to draw sanity from my work, because we're psychologists and people are insane. So there's not going to be any sanity in this.
Yo, big facts. Like, yeah. Literally, like, after I came to a certain point, during my master's, I was like, bruh, like, it's okay, if I don't get a 99 on this paper, or if I don't get, like, this proposal entered in, like, the conference next year. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, we're all working toward the same goal, and right now is right now. But yesterday happened, tomorrow's not even here yet. So I don't even know what's going to happen. And all I know is I just got to be present and be mindful of, like, my now. And everything else just seems to, like, fall into play. Like, if you never lose, like, sight of the end, everything else just literally is just a piece of the puzzle. Then you're like, oh, crap, like, that's what's up. Like, that's why all this was so hard, because this beautiful, piece of art I created, which is, your work, the connections you made with people, the associates you made, like, all that is a part of this, like, I learned, it helped me get the farthest within, like, my master's, and even now, it's like just the people I've met, and, like, the connections I made, and just small talk. Yeah. Because a lot of people, like you said, we're insane. A lot of people don't want to, like, draw a sanity from their work. So a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, if you connect with, like, that professor or that person you want to do research with, or whoever it is, 9 times out of 10, if you guys are in the same realm, obviously you have common interests or some commonalities, but they're like, yo, like, can I talk to this person? Like, how is their human side? And that's the most important, like, aspect of, like, all this, I realized, because We're all going to get a degree. We're all going to be something. We're all going to be somebodies within this, this whole realm. But it's like, okay, out of those somebodies, who could really show me their true colors? Who could show me their guts? Who could open up and be vulnerable?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a huge ask in academia.
It's hard, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Why do you think that?
I kind of have a running theory about the type of people that go into academia, and yeah, I'm not sure I should say it. Don't think I should say it, but I do think that there's a certain type of person in academia, and that type of person will also struggle with vulnerability to an unhealthy degree. A lot of people in academia are overachievers. A lot of people in academia, not to say that you have to be successful to be in academia. That's more to say most people who are here have an overachiever personality. And they compete for accolades and academic success even after they stop getting grades for their work. So, yeah, I think that type of person struggles with vulnerability. Despite all the things that we study psychologically, we are bad at putting it into implementation. Or we're bad at implementing it, I should say. Sorry.
That is true. Like, we were talking about that yesterday. One of my classes. How we learn all these theories as a clinician, future clinician. Like, we learn these theories. We learn, all these theories. We learn all these different theories. We learn, different case studies. We learn how to write all these different notes. But it's like, okay, like, where's the researcher? Where's the help for the helper? When the human being who is taking everybody's sanity, everybody's problems, everybody's issues, who's there to help them? We get supervision, but who's there?
For the psychologist.
Yeah, who's there to help you? Like, who's there solely to be your helper? But even then, like, after you unwind and unload your load on the helper who's helping you, who's gonna help them? So it's like, it's like this funny thing. Like, we could tell somebody how to stop smoking 10 cigarettes every hour, but we can't tell ourselves to stop reading for the next journal we're trying to write, or just to relax and sit back. It's like this. It's just weird.
It's a weird cycle.
Yeah, this weird cycle, this weird unhealthy balance that we don't have. So like number 2 is huge. Like let's balance. Like speaking of class, right? So yesterday in class we were talking about. We were like first day of class,
What class is this?
Stats.
Oh.
Yeah, stats, right? So we're in class. Everybody's talking about. We're going to do like introductions, like, hey, like my name is whatever. This is what I'm studying. Blah blah blah. Then we go around. Get to me. It's like, yeah, like my name is Zaire. I'm here. This is what I'm doing. This is what I want to study. I was like, I want to study. Like I'm thinking about doing a dissertation on the effects. Of and the correlation between PTSD in inner city youth and PTSD in youth within like war-torn refugee countries. And see the correlation, see how they play together. Because at the end of the day, a dead body is a dead body. Seeing gun violence and being exposed to gun violence is the same thing. A war is a figure. It's like a figure. A war is battles, fighting. A war is just very.
There are more definitions of war than we give credit for.
Yeah. So like and who's to say somebody in Syria or from Iraq or from like in African places that are warring, who says that what they're feeling and their trauma is any different than somebody in inner cities such as like Chicago, places in New Jersey like Camden, Trenton, places like that where there's trouble, there's wars going on, all that. So who's there to say that there's no difference?
I really think you would like my trauma class that I'm taking this semester. I'm almost sad you're not taking it. Because we literally talked about that too. The professor was saying how, like, when people talk about trauma, they only think about war refugees or, like, veterans. She's like, but there are so many different types of trauma that we don't account for that happen in everyday life. And she's like, you never know when you're going to experience trauma until you experience it. And so we need to start changing our perspective of what trauma is. Her name, not her name, but yeah.
So, Vanessa, I was just curious, like you're year 2 in your PhD, at one of the best social psych programs in the country. So I'm just curious, like, what advice would you give to any first year PhD students, whether it be social sciences, STEM, just anything? What would you be like, yo, before you start, this is what you need to know?
Um, I think I would say your only competition is yourself, and stop competing with yourself so much. There's okay, so no one in your department is going to sign your degree other than your advisor and the chair of the department. That's not to say you need to kiss up to them. That's to say everyone else is white noise, and background information. That means you determine your pace, you determine what kind of research you're going to do, grand scheme, and you determine what kind of researcher you are. And you determine what you want to get out of your PhD, what you want to get out of your classes. I would also say remember that, well, maybe I'm only speaking to first year Vanessa in this case, but I guess to myself I would say, remember that you sought out a PhD because you enjoy gaining knowledge, and don't lose sight of that. If you enjoy learning as a process, enjoy learning as a process, and don't turn it into a job. And you're the only person who can turn it into that job. Basically, I would say it's all in your head. And that sounds crazy. And the only reason that sounds crazy is because no one ever tells anyone who's a PhD student that coming in. And so everyone else in the department won't remember that it's all in their head. But you need to remember that it's all in your head.
Wow. Thank you. That's some advice I could take, going into, like, my program, like, something, learning. That's what we're here to do. Like, we're here really just to learn. At the root most of everything. Like, we are students. We are here to learn and to help, put ideas out in the world and help teach people to learn. Help spread ideas for other people to learn, to, come to grips like, oh, like, this is a different way to think about something, which in actuality is another form of learning. So, yeah. Okay, Miss Vanessa, the future PhD. Okay, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring you to one of my classes one day when I'm teaching, if I teach, which I won't. I'm a clinician, not a teacher. But, so Vanessa, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that, first year advice. Aside from that, funny question, random question. 3 things first year PhD students must bring to class. What are they?
3 things you have to bring to class.
Yeah, it's like, doesn't matter, like, teacher wants you to, or just 3 things, you're like, yo, you can't leave home without.
Your computer, so you can take all your notes, and multitask during class. A charger for your computer, and, a coffee.
Coffee.
You're gonna need a coffee.
What's your go-to coffee?
What's my go-to coffee?
Yeah.
I have a Keurig.
What flavor? Okay, what's in your Keurig? Like, what do you put in there?
I do hazelnut, almond milk, and I'm gonna sound real bougie, but the coconut sugar from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I love TJ's.
Yeah, I use coconut sugar from Trader Joe's.
Shout out to Trader Joe's. Like, that's the spot. Okay, your coffee. I love coffee.
Maybe tea. Maybe tea if you
Green
need
tea.
it, but yeah. Whatever keeps you energized, you should have it in your book bag.
Okay, so what's the most important thing you've learned since you've been in your PhD program? Single most important thing you've learned?
Oh, I've learned myself.
Okay, speaking of yourself, right? When you're not in school, when you're not, like, stressing over, like, a class or whatever, how does Vanessa Hatton, how does she unwind? How do you, like, when you're just like, I want to chill, I want to enjoy I just want to enjoy, like, being me right now. What is it that you do?
I write, so you've heard of lo-fi music, right? It's like, background noise, or it's not background noise, but you know what I mean. Like, it's like soundscapes, except cool soundscapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll turn that on, I'll dim all the lights in my room, light a couple candles, turn the music on, and read.
No Sade?
I try to save Sade for special occasions.
Oh, okay. Let's go back to the normal topic, miss. So what do you write? What kind of like do you write? Like research papers for fun?
No. Don't write research papers for fun if you're gonna go to a PhD program. If that's your wave, like do it, but you're not gonna get peace from that, okay? No, I creative write, so I write short stories or essays about anything.
About anything. Cool. So that's what's up. How'd you get into that?
I've been into it for a while, actually. I've been doing it since like middle school.
Wow.
So
you got your 10,000 hours, you think? So?
Mhm.
You got your 10,000 hours?
Oh, more than that, yeah, for sure.
So you're like an expert in the field of creative writing now.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I know how to do it. And I'm still learning. So one thing I really like about creative writing is that it's a craft. But there is an end in sight. So unlike research, you can actually see the tangible results of your efforts and your learning. So I could learn social psychology till I'm blue in the face and still get a null result for my hypothesis. So it's sometimes in a PhD program feels like your learning doesn't matter. But with creative writing, I can see the tangible efforts of my practice. So I could read a book on writing fiction. And then I could apply it to my work currently. And then I could compare that work to my old work, and I can see a huge difference. With research, it's not always the case. So that feels really good.
And what makes you, like, that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, writing. So what made you do that as your hobby? Like, what does it make you feel? Like, what is it about the writing that you enjoy the most?
Writing is therapeutic. Feels good to do. It just feels good. I don't know. It's a nice way to unwind. It's a good way to get emotions out in a really creative way. And I call myself a languager, jokingly. I really, really like playing with words. It's really fun because you can manipulate words to be anything you need them to be.
So like Lil Wayne.
Yeah, like Lil Wayne. I just language is so like. Language is a baseline for humans.
So here we go. So we got Vanessa, the PhD, word-playing, writing superstar. Wow. Wow, you got to come back on like the podcast with me one day when you're like famous for like, writing novels or, changing the world through your research.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
And toes. Come on.
Yeah, fingers and toes. I'll cross my fingers and toes.
Cool. So what would you say to, that...
Well, pause. You're asking me what I do as hobbies. You've been grinding nonstop, it seems like, for the past 2-3 years. So what are your hobbies?
Honestly, I love to cook. Like it's not even a hobby. It's like something I do. I learned to like really enjoy. Like you say, like writing is like is de-stressing, is relaxing to you. Like I love to cook and I love to like see like the finished product. Like I love to like try like a new spice or like a new dish, then put like my own little flavor on it. Cause 9 times out of 10. A lot of things require a lot of ingredients, and I ain't got time for that. Like, I'm not cooking for a family. I'm not cooking for like a lot of people. I'm cooking for me. So it's like, all right, I substitute a lot, and a lot of times I just freelance. Cause like, the thing I learned about cooking, it's art in a sense, Cause it's like, it's like
dash here, a little sprinkle there.
For real, dash. It's like one of those things where it's like, okay, like, I'm in the mood for something zesty today, or something sweet, or something, savory. So it's like, all right, bet. Like, if I want savory, my go-to, I'm gonna make like a curry with some nice rice, But
so you're gonna cook and bring it to the lab one day, yes?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe if I'm first author. Shout out to sis. If I'm first author, I'll bring some food. But yeah, like, the thing about cooking is, like, and you're chopping the onions up, you're chopping the peppers up, you cut the chicken just right, you season just right, then you put it all in your frying pan or in the oven. Then you see it, like you put the food in as an incomplete item. It's like it's not the Picasso yet. Like you put it in there, you season it up, you take a little taste here and there. And you're like, okay, it needs a little more of this. Then it's a process, literally. Then like when it's all done, you smell the aromas of it. Then you're like, man, I made that. Then next thing you take a bite of it. It's either like two reactions. Whenever I cook food, it's like, okay, it's not bad, but I could do this differently. Or my favorite reaction, I take a bite of it, I like low key like pass out and die because it tastes so damn good. It's like, you had like something so good, you put it in your mouth and you're like, oh my god, like it's like a thug tear almost comes out of you. So that's how I feel. That's what cooking does to me. So it's like, it's fun, So, and like it was trial and error. Like my mom was like, oh, like you gotta learn how to cook if you, I can't cook for you all the time if you're always hungry. Then plus I did sports, so I had to like be on point with my nutrition. So just learned. So it's been like a
so
thing.
You're Chef Boyardee basically.
Chef Boy or urban psychologist. But yeah, so I'm alright. I just gotta work my presentation better because like.
Oh, you gotta make it look pretty.
Yeah, like when I cook, I just cook and I eat. It tastes good, but like when I have like friends over, or like when I get like married and stuff, like I gotta like make it look good so people want to eat it. It's gonna taste good, but man, look good all the time. But that's my thing. I like to cook. I like to watch anime. I like to just be lazy sometimes because like that's like being lazy and just staying home is like people don't really give it as much credit as it deserves, but like
if you're going into academia, give laziness the credit it deserves.
Yeah, because like some days, like I remember like after I finished all my like research over the summer, report writing, blah blah blah. Literally, I just sat down on my couch one day and I was like, yo, I am not getting up at all unless I want food or I gotta use the bathroom, because it's one of those days that's just like, yo, like I don't need to do anything. There's no deadlines. There's no nothing. I could just be with myself and like just be like a little kid because like I don't have anything to do. Bills are paid, emails are sent, phones on silent. Like I'm chilling right now. It's all about like finding ways to decompress and just be mindful of your life because like nobody's life is better than yours. Like J. Cole said. Damn, he said something I forgot. But yeah, so yeah, that's it. Thank you for sharing. Your little hobby. Your writing. Hopefully, when I read one of your books, I'm like, look out for Vanessa Hatton, PhD. Her fiction, sci-fi novels, or whatever it's gonna be. Look out. So thanks for coming, Vanessa. Even though I came to you in your lab, but like, thanks for
our
here.
lab.
Oh yeah, I am in a lab. Yeah, I'm not a lab assistant. But yeah.
To the dismay of some.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be petty. But being petty is a part of academia too. You have to be very petty.
It's subtle at it.
Yeah, and it's so fun because like when you're smart. Oh, okay. Even though I said we're going, but I'm gonna come back real quick. The best thing is subtly telling people off, and it feels where it's possible. Then leaving the room, and then I'm like, wait, did they tell me off? And you're like, yeah, I kind of did that. Would you agree, Vanessa?
When I try it, I'll let you know.
What?
Yeah.
That's the best. Is like telling people off or like putting somebody in their place, and they're like, wait, they don't realize it. They think they really won, but it's like timeout. What did they just say to me? Then by the time you realize it, it's like, dang, like I just lost. I'm telling you, you gotta work on it. You gotta be quick with it.
I'll learn.
It's a Sagittarius thing,
Okay.
All right. See you next time.
See ya.